The Beatles are one of the most influential bands in the history of music, but they were also influenced by a number of artists as well. Elvis Presley, Little Richard, Buddy Holly, and many more were responsible for inspiring the best music act of all time. But which of them was the most important one? Well, to answer that question, we have to go back to the first few albums the Beatles made. Incredibly popular at the time, but far from the influential juggernauts they would make in the future. Late 1964 was the first time the Beatles showed any signs of a change in their mainstream tendencies, and coincidentally, that same year they met this man, Bob Dylan. Explaining the influence of Bob Dylan in the music scene would take a whole new video, so for now, let's just say he was single-handedly changing the way people perceived music. Jazz and rock and roll were extremely well performed in melodic genres, so when this kid who barely knew how to carry a tune was topping the charts with songs that dealt with major political issues, people began to pay attention. The Beatles were among these people, especially George and John, who immediately tried to mimic his style, which resulted in songs like I'm a Loser and Not Guilty. Bob Dylan was also the man who introduced the band to the Devil's Lettuce, and since albums like Rubber Soul are known as the Pod album, his influence becomes quite clear. There's even a little conspiracy that says that Bob Dylan was the one who encouraged George Harrison to leave the Beatles after listening to some of the songs he had ready. Also, it's well known that around 1967 both John and George were diving deep into politics in their own ways, and it's theorized that Bob Dylan's earlier records like The Times Are Changing influenced it. There's many people that influenced the Beatles to be the most influential band of all time, but if we had to go for the most relevant one, it has to be Bob Dylan.